welcome back to the Chosen's Blended Harmony of the Gospel. I'm Nancy, this is Mandy, and we are on day 27, part 1, two parables about prayer. Two parables about prayer from Luke 18. Now he told them a parable on the need for them to pray always and not give up. There was a judge in a certain town who didn't fear God or respect people. He doesn't sound like a good guy at all. And a widow in that town kept coming to him saying, "Give me justice against my adversary." For a while he was unwilling, but later he said to himself, "Even though I don't fear God or respect people," at least he knows where he stands, "yet because this widow keeps pestering me, I will give her justice so that she doesn't wear me out by her persistent coming." Then the Lord said, "Listen to what the unjust judge says. Will not God grant justice to his elect who cry out to him day and night? Will he delay helping them? I tell you that he will swiftly grant them justice. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on earth?" He also told this parable to some who trusted in themselves that they were righteous and looked down on everyone else. Two men went up to the temple to pray, one a Pharisee and the other the tax collector. The Pharisee was standing and praying like this about himself: "God, I thank you that I am not like other people, greedy, unrighteous, adulterers, or even like this tax collector." This guy is naming names. "I fast twice a week. I give 1/10 of everything I get." But the tax collector, standing far off, would not even raise his eyes to heaven, but kept striking his chest and saying, "God, have mercy on me, a sinner." I tell you, this one went down to his house justified rather than the other, because everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, but the one who humbles himself will be exalted. I just really love both of these stories. Let's go back and read a little bit. The first one is about a judge in a certain town who didn't fear God or respect people. This guy is really something, isn't he? But the widow kept coming and saying, "Give me justice for my adversary." And for a while he was unwilling, but later he said to himself, "Even though I don't fear God or respect people, yet because this widow keeps pestering me, I will give her justice so that she doesn't wear me out by her persistent coming." Okay, so widows back in Jesus' time, they could be destitute if they didn't have any other family or anything. So there was some issue, and apparently she might have owed this adversary money, or they could give her money, whatever the situation was. She really needed this to come through. And because she just kept pestering him, he finally gave in. Even though a widow, he would be like, "I have more important cases to look at today. I'm just going to not look at this woman." Women were looked down upon, and a woman widow would really just be worth nothing in his sight. So he wasn't going to take the time, but because she kept persisting and pestering, he finally listened. And I looked up the Greek word for wear out, also could mean ruin your reputation. So of course he didn't want his reputation to be ruined, so he was just going to go ahead and give in to her. And then the Lord said, "Listen to what this unjust judge says. Will not God grant justice to the elect who cry out to him day and night? Will he delay helping them? I tell you, he will swiftly grant them justice. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on earth?" So Jesus' point here is that if this unjust judge is going to take the time and help this widow out, how much more our Heavenly Father wants to help us out. But we have to be persistent, right? We just have to keep asking and asking in faith. It's kind of like a test sometimes to see how long we will ask. And if we ask, it says that he will give us what we need. And so just like the judge helped the widow, Jesus and God are going to help us in our time of need. And then he says, "Nevertheless, when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on earth?" So it seems like the bigger question here isn't, will God come through? Well, is God really listening, and is God going to answer prayer? But are we even praying? Do we have faith that our Heavenly Father will even grant us what we are asking for? So we need to be faithful on our end and be bold enough to believe and to just keep asking and believe that he is going to answer our prayers. Then I love the second parable. Two men went up to the temple to pray, one a Pharisee, the other the tax collector. Now you would think, right, the Pharisee is going to be the good guy and the tax collector is the bad guy, right? Because typically that's how it was back then. Tax collectors were Jews that went and sided with the Romans and worked for the Romans. They went back and taxed their own people, and often they would tax them more, and then they would just keep, so say you gave $10, they would keep $1 for themselves and only give $9 to Rome. So tax collectors were not good people. But the Pharisee was standing and praying like this about himself. He's saying, God, I thank you. I am not like other people. I'm not greedy, unrighteous. I'm not like those adulterers, or even like this tax collector over there. I fast twice a week. I give 1/10 of everything I get. He is just letting God and everyone in earshot know what a wonderful person he is, all the good things that he does. And he even says, I'm so glad I'm not like, and then lists all these other people. That is really arrogant. But the tax collector, standing far off, would not even raise his eyes to heaven, but kept striking his chest, saying, God, have mercy on me, a sinner. So over here in the corner, where no one can see and no one can hear, is the tax collector. He's so upset, and he knows that he has sinned, that he can't even raise his eyes up. He's praying like this with his eyes and head down because he's so embarrassed and he's so ashamed, and he knows that he's a sinner. And he's beating his chest and saying, God, have mercy on me, a sinner. So Jesus is saying, I tell you, this one, the tax collector, went down to his house justified rather than the other, because everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, but the one who humbles himself will be exalted. So Jesus says that the tax collector, not the Pharisee, went home justified. Justified means to be declared righteous by God. The tax collector knew he was a sinner, and he knew his only hope was to plead before God for mercy. And he knew that God would give him mercy too. But that Pharisee, he was self-righteous. He was going to go before God and think that he was going to be saved and righteous by what he had done. He says, I have tithed, I have given, I have helped. I'm not like this person and that person and the adulterer and the tax collector and all those things. He was self-righteous, depending on himself. And my friends, we can never do enough good deeds to just justify ourselves in front of God. It is only by Jesus' grace and mercy on the cross that we can ever be holy in God's sight and come to him. And so it was the tax collector who had the right attitude. And that's what Jesus was trying to point out. And when we're justified, God looks at us and we have no longer any sin on us. And when God looks at us, it's like we are just as if I'd never sinned. You like that? I hope today, my friend, that you are going to be more like that tax collector, to realize that you are a sinner. I'm a sinner. We're all sinners. We all need Jesus. And the only way to be righteous before God is to fall at our face and on our knees and just beg for mercy from God and believe that Jesus is the way that we can come to God. It's not that we're self-righteous like that Pharisee saying all the things that we have done, because you can never do enough things. It is only because you believe in Jesus. So today, be like a tax collector and just know that the only way you can come to Jesus is to ask for forgiveness and to realize that you're a sinner. So I hope you do that today and you're not like some self-righteous Pharisee. And I'll see you back here again tomorrow for more Chosen Harmony of the Gospels. Yes, we'll come back. You can get your own copy of A Blended Harmony of the Gospels by The Chosen simply by going to thechosengifts.com. There you can find all kinds of wonderful merchandise to help build your faith this year. Be sure to check out their devotionals and their Bible studies. Have a blessed day.